estate is an interest in real estate that allows a tenant to possess the property for a fixed time period. Leasehold estates last for a definite duration and can be terminated. The tenant is the lessee, and the landlord is the lessor. The two most common leasehold estates are the estate for years and the estate from period to period, or periodic estate. An estate for years is a leasehold estate that lasts for a definite time period, and that period may be years, months, weeks, or even days. It's a lease arrangement between the owner and the tenant that has a definite ending date. An estate for years lasts for a definite time period and has a definite ending date. A periodic estate, or estate from period to period, has no specific expiration date, but it automatically renews upon receipt of payment from the tenant. It's commonly known as a month-to-month lease when we talk about residential leases, but it can be for any period of time. It sometimes becomes a holdover tenancy when a tenant with an estate for years remains in possession after the expiration date and the landlord accepts rent payments. The tenant remains in possession with the landlord's consent. That's called a holdover tenancy. A periodic estate ends upon notice from either the owner or the tenant. In both an estate for years and a periodic estate, a purchaser gets possession subject to the lease, with the tenant retaining possession until the lease expires. In other words, the new owner cannot terminate the lease at his own will. He has to wait until the lease expires. Two other types of leasehold estates are an estate at will and estate at sufferance. An estate at will has no specific initial term, no specific end term. It continues until it's terminated by either the landlord or the tenant with proper notice. An estate at sufferance means someone in the arrangement is suffering. An estate at sufferance is created when the tenant retains possession of the property after the termination of the lawful and permissive time period and remains there without the landlord's consent. The landlord can treat the tenant as a trespasser and begin eviction with an estate at sufferance. If the landlord, during an estate at sufferance, accepts any payment from a tenant at sufferance, a holdover tenancy is created.